All right, guys, welcome back. Mr. Antonucci here, and today we're mastering two essential quantitative data displays, stem and leaf plots and histograms. Both of these tools allow us to quickly visualize large data sets of numerical data while preserving distribution shapes. So let's look at how to build them and answer exam-style free response questions. All right, here we're given the foot lengths in centimeters for 30 soccer players. Here's how to build a clean stem and leaf plot. First thing you want to do is put your data in order if it's not already in order, and I'll show you in a minute how to do that on Desmos very quickly. So the first step in constructing a stem and leaf plot is identify your stems. Look at your minimum value, which would be 22.8 centimeters, and your max value, 27.6. Our stems will represent the tens and ones place, so 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. Second, you want to add the leaves. That's the final digit after the decimal point. So for 22.8, 22 is the stem and the 8 would be on the leaves. And be careful with the leaves. You want to arrange the leaves in ascending order from left to right. And finally, make sure you add your key. Never forget your key on the AP exam. You need to write out an explicit key like 22/8 represents 22.8 centimeters. So when asked about the shape, just turn your heads 90 degrees to the right and look at the stem and leaf plot. You'll see a single peak on the 24 stem with the leaves tapering off evenly on both sides. So this distribution is roughly symmetric with no obvious outliers. There's a single peak at 24, and the values range from 22.8 to 27.6. Now, unfortunately, Desmos doesn't have a stem and leaf plot function, but if you have the list of numbers and they're out of order, Desmos can quickly do that for you. It can sort them. I'll show you how to do that now. So if you want to quickly sort a list of data values that are out of order, first thing you do is put them in a list. You create a list with a capital letter and setting it equal to bracket, and then you enter your list in there. Here I have my 30 data values from the problem. Then you hit enter, and literally on the next line, you type out sort and a parenthesis. Then you enter the name of your list, in this case A, and it will automatically sort it for you. If you have too many data values that don't display, you hit the hyperlink here, and that's just going to show all your data values. Then from that list, you can even name the sorted list as a new list. You can say B is equal to sort A, and that will call B the sorted list of A. It says the same values, but it's just sorted. So now we can perform calculations like median. Literally type the word median. Mean. Literally type the word mean. And there's many other functions you can do here. So that's pretty cool. In this example, we're grouping continuous data into a histogram. Here we have hotel room rates for 50 cities. Building a histogram takes three main steps. First, you want to choose equal width intervals. So in this example, we're going to group rates into bins like 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and so on, all the way up to 300. Then you want to tally the frequencies in each bin. So just count how many cities fall into each bin. And third, you want to draw bars, which are vertical bars touching each other with no gaps between the bins, unless a bin has a frequency of 0. So you can see here that from 50 to 75 and 75 to 100, there were no data values, so there are no bins. And don't worry, I'll show you how to do this in Desmos in a minute. Now, in part B, can this histogram justify that a majority of cities cost at least $150 per night? Look at the bins starting at 150 and sum up the amounts in each bin. So if you add those up, they add up to 35. 35 out of 50 is 0.7 or 70%. Since 70% is strictly greater than 50%, we can say yes, a clear majority costs at least $150. Now, I'm going to show you how to quickly generate this histogram in Desmos. To generate a histogram in Desmos, first you want to enter your data as a list. And remember, to create a list, you use capital letters and set them equal to a bracket, and then enter your data values. Here I have 50 data values. I copy and pasted them in. You can enter them by hand. It doesn't matter. They also don't have to be in order as long as the data values are there. Then go to a new line and literally type the word histogram. Put a parenthesis and then the name of your list. In this case, we used A, and then comma, the bin width. In this case, we're going to use a bin width of 25. And then it's going to automatically generate the histogram, but you can't see it in this case because the viewing window is not in the appropriate place. If I go to the bottom left-hand corner right here, click Zoom Fit, it's going to automatically fit the viewing window to the data display. And this is important that you do this because sometimes the data display isn't even going to show up, and other times it may be distorted, giving you a misleading representation of the data. So for bar heights, you're going to do counts for a frequency histogram and relative if you want a relative frequency histogram. But if you do type relative, remember that's going to do the percents in each bin. So you'll want to click the magnifying glass and it will rescale the axes. And notice that the vertical axis is rescaled now. If I go back to count, it's going to do the counts for each bin. I would have to zoom fit again. And notice it rescaled the y-axis here. For bin alignment, you're going to want to pick left. In this case, we want the bins to go in even distribution of multiples of 25. So that's how you do histograms in Desmos. Now remember, if you are literally going to draw a histogram that you created in Desmos, don't forget to label your histogram. In this case, we have nightly hotel rates, and the units right there are dollars. All right, so a quick recap for stem plots and histograms. Remember, stem and leaf plots must always have a key. Histogram bars have to touch each other because you're dealing with quantitative data, which is continuous. The only case where you would have a gap is if there are no data values for a particular bin. And also watch out for boundary inclusion. 150 to 200 includes 150, but not 200. 200 would be the beginning of the next bin. So make sure you drop your questions in the comments. If this helped you out, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my upcoming AP Stats videos. Take care.